Good morning. I can't find you on Facebook because my Facebook's crashed. So I don't know if you're there. I don't know if we've started, but I'm going by our new office clock. Morning. How are you? It is Workshop Wednesday. Woohoo! Which means it's not me, it's Jane. Woohoo! Say many. And yeah. Jane, all-star all-cock. You have done it again. Knocked it out the park. That is phenomenal.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah. I have a love-hate relationship with this. I love it, but I've hated looking at those fabrics for so long, sitting on the shelf going, can I not just use it, please? What do you want, Gemma? Oh, shutting the door. Am I too loud? Oh, the cutting's too loud. Okay. Apparently you can hear the beautiful sound of orders being fulfilled. Okay. With our little cutting machine. I'm going to see if I can find you again. Where are you all? Like, where are you? I just don't know. Oh, here we go. Oh, turn that volume down. Found it another way. There's always another way in. Always another way. Oh, someone shared us already.
Oh, how lovely.
Do you know, thank you so much. In sharing this, you show your support, which is amazing. And we get more people that know that we're there. And it is one of those things that the more you share, you know, presumably you watch because you like what we do. Or you might watch because we're company. Or when Helena cooks here because we just laugh a lot. Actually, we've done a fair bit laughing this morning, to be fair. And singing, we won't give you that. But it might be that you have a friend who could do with that right now.
Yeah.
You know, so we're always really grateful for any shares and sharing the love. We got a lot of love. We got a lot of love for all of you. Oh gosh, lots of you this morning. Good morning, Anne. Good morning, Kaz. Good morning, Helen. Good morning, Naomi P. She loves the star quilt. It's stunning. And Sarah. Good morning. You see, now I know it's not Sarah. American way. Yeah. Sarah. We covered that last week. Jacqueline. Hello there, lovely ladies. On this dismal day, bring us the cheer. It's horrible out there. Even the ducks are a bit like, yeah, really? Quite like to stay here. Morning. We are not floating away, says Heidi. Just, is it going to stop? Suzanne, good morning. Valerie, hello. And Christina, hello. Good morning, Margaret. She's always bright and early as Margaret. Always there. It's good. It's like one of those things you can always depend upon. Is Margaret being there on time. Good morning to you. Juanita, I never know if I say that right, but let's hope. Good morning to you. And Alison, good morning. Good morning, good morning, Jenny. Good morning, other Jen. Lots of Jennies. Jenny T, Jenny J. Caroline, hello. Steph, good morning. Sue, who else we got? Who else we got? Heather, hello. And Myra. You see, yeah, just leave your husband out with the horses to get wet and cold and horrible on this fabulous day. Your mum's watching. Morning, Kate. Alison's there. Good morning. And Caroline and Claire, hello. Claire, do you still walk the school? Oh no, you're homeschooling, aren't you? Keep forgetting that. Keep forgetting. And Rosemary, she's always here. Natasha and Jane. Well, hello, Rosemary. It's lovely to have your company. And Barbara as well. And Christine, hello. Oh, and Ali G. We've now established it's okay in the house. Morning, Natasha and Jane, says Kirsty. I finished sewing my Kelmscott quilt, but I need to hand sew in my ends, etc. before I take pics. But it's massive and I love it.
Well, that's
Makes
nice.
me very happy.
It's about.
Well, it is, isn't it? Hi, Rona and Joe. Hello and low. Oh, happy birthday, Ali Barton. It's Ali's birthday. Oh, happy birthday, Ali. Big love to you, my friend. Becky says it's horrible weather outside, so loving the excuse to sit and watch. Even the dogs didn't want to go out.
No,
I'm not
it's
gonna lie.
definitely a sit-in and sew day.
Margot took one look and went,
I'm not doing it.
no. And Eric pooed on the floor. So that was the end of that. I was like, oh, thanks. Probably TMI. Morning from a very soggy East Sussex, says Susan. Yeah, Mum and Dad are soggy too. They're down in East Sussex. Good morning, everyone. Nothing is stopping me watching today. Yay! Turned phones, etc. off. Hee hee. Do you know what, Fiona? Just do it. Just have that hour or so of just me time.
Me time.
Well, you know, you and me time. It's all good. Because we've got beautiful fabrics this month. Well, when do we not?
Yeah, you don't do not beautiful fabrics.
Mm-mm. It's policy. It's written.
Written in.
Yeah. It's a lifestyle, says Josh. We'll come to the quilt kits because we've got 3 options for you today. I know. You thought that was enough, didn't you? But no. This is the Rainbow Star quilt, and the instructions are available for download or for printy off the printy printer. Physical. That's the one.
Technical term.
Yeah, absolutely. I've mixed it up a bit with tomorrow's half metre heavens. We suddenly realised that nowhere written in the rule book did it say that the plain had to be cotton. Yeah, wait and see. So let me give you a little heads up on just some, of tomorrow's half metre heavens. They go live at midnight 12:01 tonight. I mean, yeah, that had to happen. Yeah, dancing dahlias with some glorious sunshine batik. What is not to love?
It's just what you need on a day like today.
Right, bring the sunshine
stunning.
in. Yes, bring that sunshine in. And then, for all of you people that love a bit of retro colourway, I give you an older K Facet Collective. Thank you very much, Philip Jacobs, for this little number. But you've got, I'm going to have to open this up, aren't I? Because you can't just see a little soupçon and be satisfied. Yes. Now, I mean, if you love a seaside theme, perfect. Imagine sashing with that. Look at all the different things you've got going on there. Binding. What if you cut it this way? What if you cut it that way? This is called shell stripe, strangely enough.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Paprika was the only way forward with this. It's pretty much spot on. Bing, there it is. So that had to happen. Look at that. Just. I've got this in another colourway, but I'm saving that for another project. Just to tease you, it might involve Cath Hardcastle. Beautiful. There we go. So we've got that. Now, what did we decide this was called? Because then
were bagels.
I called it bagels. It's not. Well, it looked like bagel. I was looking at those and I went, "Is that bagels? Is it called? No, it's not called bagels. It's called something like forest fruits or something."
It's forest medley or something. It's like that.
Shall I open it up and have a look? Because you know the answer is there on the forest medley. That sounds like a scrumptious dessert. Look at that. Beautiful. It's got. It looks like it's been like hand printed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then we tried that purple. Didn't work. Was not the one.
No, it flattened it off completely. That really lifts it.
Totally. The minute you bring in that green.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's not a bright green, is it?
Nope.
It's what I would call a sludgy colour, but it really lifts the pattern of the fabrics.
I think sludge is
Amazing.
underrated. And here's the
Sludgy
thing.
works sometimes.
Like, left to my own devices, if I were going to a fabric store to buy fabric, I wouldn't look at sludge, but look at it there. It's just phenomenal. So it's the unsung hero of fabrics.
Yeah, and I think sometimes a softer, muted colour works better than a bright colour.
I give you another type of sludge that works absolutely beautiful with the William Morris. Well, I don't know what we're going to do when we've run out of this. We're on to the last bolt of it, aren't we? I know. And I've put this with the William Morris so many times because it just echoes the bird's tummy.
Yeah, it pulls out that lovely, soft, beigey cream colour beautifully.
So I was listening to a podcast on bird migration the other night. Phenomenal. They eat their own internal organs on the flight so that it gives them energy and they don't have extra weight. What? Like, what?
That's amazing.
It's really amazing. It's Melvin Bragg's podcast that he does
Oh, I bet he's really interesting.
on Radio 4, and it's all on iPlayer. So whenever I put the kids off to sleep, we always listen to one of those to get them off to sleep, so they're getting something educational. Tell you what, my general knowledge has really improved. I beat my mum and dad at the Christmas quiz.
Cool.
I know, right? In other news, we've got melons, and again with the very last bit of this batik.
Yeah.
When this one's gone, it's gone. But O-M to the G, look at that. I mean, yeah, it would be really rude not to.
Yeah, it just goes perfectly. It just lifts the greens in that really nicely.
Oh, yes. Now, what about a bit of Michael Miller? Hang on a minute.
I don't think you should sell this one.
Really?
No.
Soz.
I think I need it all.
Well, you know, greedy. Yeah, look at that. So this is your Michael Miller option. Again, these go live at 1 minute past midnight tonight. And it's not for any particular reason other than that's what we do on a Thursday. It's like a destination day for your half meter heavens, and it just spreads the cutting out for us, because otherwise we'd be snowed under and we can't cope. So that's why we do it. I mean, yeah. Now, Claire told me how to pronounce this, didn't she? Chartreuse.
Chartreuse.
It was more like mousse.
Yeah, chartreuse.
Chartreuse. Green.
Yeah, mousse.
It's got green with it. Now, I love this one. I'm going out there. I love it. It's Pat Bravo. It's Dare. And I think that lots of things should be sashed with it. Now, you've done interesting things with this.
Yeah. I think it's a lovely fabric. It's got a lot of potential. You can fussy cut it, or you can use it in your binding with that stripe going across. Really exciting things.
So it needed
sometimes
to
you
be
get
put.
a fabric like that and you're like, that's a bit, and then you look at it and you're like, could do this and that and the other.
Or just make a massive bag and have your lining as coral.
Yes.
Would also work.
It would look beautiful.
Tick, 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 tick. Scrumptious. Now, what about Corinne Haig? Is she a designer that's on your radar?
She's one I've heard of. Lovely, bright, big, bold patterns.
Yeah,
And that
with her
is just-
artichoke garden.
Yeah.
And ice green, not to be confused with
with
artichoke ice cream, which sounds vaguely disgusting. So we've got that for you. I don't think we've bought much Corinne before. Riley Blake. I mean, after yesterday, let's go more Riley. Riley.
Love that.
Pretty, pretty, pretty. Do you know what? Finding that blue. I had a slightly brighter one. No. Had to be that one.
Soft one.
The powder blue, just beautiful with it. I'm going to get on to then. You know, I said we suddenly realised that half metre heaven didn't have to be a half metre of just plain. It could be, now, gorgeous Lewis and Irene stars. I've always felt this needed a bit of
Bling with it.
yeah. And then what rocks up? Blink, blip, 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 blingity, bling, 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 bling. Yes. Half a metre of your PVC.
And it's wider than the calf cotton.
Yeah.
So you're getting a bit more.
You are
for
getting
your
a little bit
money.
more. And bling, bling, blingity, bling.
You can just see a bag with that.
I mean, can't you? But also, do you remember we did those pouches where the bottom half was like UPVCs, the pocketed pouch?
Yeah.
The pocketed pouch is perfect.
My mum made one of those the
Did
other day for a
she?
gift for my cousin. It looked fabulous.
So this will be my next project. Yes, I give you what will be in our household, the pocketed pouch in this.
In the quilted. Oh, that's going
Yep.
to look gorgeous.
Yeah, that pink is just right for it. I adore it because it's not exactly the same. It's just tonally right. And I've been looking at this for a few weeks now, going, in fact, I ordered an
We
entire
love
bolt
the
of that.
Herons / storks, don't they?
The flying birds look amazing. They are herons, aren't they?
They're allegedly herons, but they look very much like storks to us. Or cranes even.
We're not really ornithologically minded, are we?
we're
No,
not.
let's
They're
be
just
honest.
flying birds and they're gorgeous.
We were looking out the window the other day. I'm like, oh, look at the green woodpeckers, aren't they amazing? What were they?
Jays, I think.
Jays,
I
yep.
mean, I'm not, but I'm pretty sure they were jays. They were.
So
I've never
rubbish.
seen one live, but there were two. And
Well,
they were
no.
amazing. Beautiful
this is the other
flash of
thing.
blue on their wings.
I told you about the bird book that my mum and dad gave to Freddie, who's well into his birds. And in it, you have to spot the birds. You then have to write what date it was, where you saw them, and all of this. One of the cats brought in a bird. I shouldn't laugh because it's very sad. But instead of helping me tidy up, Freddie goes for his bird book to write down that he'd seen one. I'm like, no, they're meant to be live and outside, not at the bottom of the stairs.
No.
Like, no. So we had that conversation, and he's like, but I could just tick it off. No. Go outside and run around and find some real ones that still flap. I'm sorry, I might have overshared this morning. I apologise. It happens. This is your kit for today's quilt. If you want to make it exactly like that, any fabric that we have left over is available by the half metre. Gemma is rushing to put them up for you
doing it
at
as
the
we
moment.
speak, isn't she?
She was a little bit late this morning. She got stuck behind a... What did she say? If you've got problems with poo, call Stu.
Yeah.
She had
It
to
was a
sit
drain
behind
cleaner.
a drain cleaner with that emblazoned all over it. So, you know, Stu, well done you. But you made Gemma late, so thanks for that. It's all, I tell you, it's all going on this morning. Now, you asked for Mode of Grunge. So, you know, yeah, we brought you that. That was all Tulip Pink Minerals, by the way. I didn't really give it much of a, because I think we all know it's beautiful. It's like tutti frutti, isn't it? Look at that,
really
beautiful.
Lovely. Nice bright rainbow colours.
And you're getting a long quarter of each. Let me sell this properly too. I don't think it needs selling. I think you just need to look at it. Long quarter of each of those, and then 1.25 meters of your black. Yeah, you're going to have stuff left over because the only one that you're going to use all of that on is the green. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. I was listening. See, I always listen, Jane. And then, did we call this Sunset?
Yeah. The colours just reminded me. We were watching the sunset the other day, and the sky was full of those colours.
It would be rude not to have those in your life, even if. Well, I mean, yeah.
They're just. There's so
They're
much you
so
can do
scrummy.
with them. They're gorgeous.
I don't know how they managed to get quite so many colours. They're like the ultimate blender. Adore. Now, but then you wanted to go for ocean, didn't you? Because we had some blues arrive. Blues and greens. And yeah, we put it with black and went, meh, don't like that actually.
No, it pulled it flat.
It did. But you see, when you're around the ocean, you need that white. For sure.
Yeah, because I tried it with vanilla and it was nice, but then we put the white and it really zinged. So we
zing,
went
zing,
white.
zingity, zing. So again, long quarters of each of those and 1.25 meters of your white. These are stash builders, aren't they?
Definitely.
You know, use them for your quilt, absolutely. But if you are going for more than one, they are incredible value at $29.99. I know, right? And yeah. So there. I'm going to shut up and go and sit over there.
Okay.
Because, well, I mean, I'm not going to shut up at all. I'm going to tell you all of everything that everybody's saying, Jane. I'm going to relay it.
Be nice to me.
In great detail. When are we ever not nice to
I
you?
know. You are. You're always lovely. Lovely and supportive.
Right. Oh, right.
Okay.
Ha-ha. What you got, Jane?
Well, I've pinched Freddie's crayons. What's that got to do with the quilt, you may ask?
He did give you permission.
He did.
As he was flying out the door.
Bless him, on his way to school. On the back of your pattern, I don't know if we can see it. Can we go
Oh, do you want
close
a close up?
You've got a blank template of the Lone Star. Whoop. Got a bit wobbly there. That's it. So you can play with the crayons.
Nice.
And colour in your version. Because you don't have to do it the same way I've done it. You can play and do it different ways.
There's another way.
Well, you've got diamond shapes here. And I'm going to show you the method. And we're going to use strip sets. And I'm going to talk about that and how we lay it all out and everything in a minute. But if you wanted to, I've gone red in the middle and then gone out in layers of colours. You can see that it radiates out in the colours. But you could change how you wanted your star to look.
Nice.
And this is what you can do with your pencils. You can change your colours, felt pens, pencils, whatever. And so with these different colours of the grunges, you might want it to look slightly different. You might want to have, if we've got that beautiful rich purple there, you might want to have the purple radiating out to the points, like that, and then have alternate other colours either side as you go. So you can play, and what you can do, if you get, this is a trick I learned in my patchwork class, you can colour in just 1/8 of that star, and then if you get 2 mirrors and place them along that star like that, it shows you what the whole quilt will look like.
Amazing.
So you don't have to spend time colouring it all in and think, oh, well, actually I don't like that. You can do 1/8 of it, get 2 mirrors, you know, like your little handbag mirror that you get, your little compact thing that's hinged, pop it on there, and then you'll be able to see what the whole star will look like.
Jen, that's genius.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
You are amazing, yes.
Well, it's not me, I was taught it.
It's mirrors. It's mirrors.
Or mirrors. But so you've got this template on the back, so that can help you. You may not want to radiate like that. Have a play. Bit of mindful colouring.
Nice.
You can do anything
Why
with
not?
it at all, even.
Why not?
You know, just have colour with it.
Oh.
So you've got that option there. So you can play around with your colours and everything. Right, so I'm going to show you how I did this version. We're going to cut from each of your long quarters, you need to cut 2.5 inch wide strips.
Lovely.
Stripology ruler comes in really handy. It tells you exactly how many of each fabric. Now I've put fabric A, B, C, D, E and F, and then next to them I've put the colours.
Right.
If you're doing your template here, it might be worth making yourself a little key on the top there, even with a little snippet off the salvage of the fabric.
This is your prior and proper preparation prevents poor performance situation,
right.
isn't it?
And it just helps you keep track of which fabric's which. You're going to sew them together into strip sets of 4 because your diamond, this part here, is made up of 4 rows of colours. And each row is a different sequence of colours. So this is why when you're doing your colouring in, you'll be able to work out. So if we say 1 is the middle, 2, 3, 4 at the top,
yeah,
and then the next row will be 2, 3, 4, 5, and the next row down will be 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it goes 4, 5, 6, and we go back to 1 on mine.
I thought you had like
cut every single diamond and sewn them back together.
I was like,
I
blimey.
did, yeah, I did.
James
yeah, it
got
took me
quick.
That's
Looking
how
forward
they
to that
used to
overtime.
make a Lone Star. They would have
Yeah.
cut each one out over papers, put it, you know, English paper pieced it.
Yeah.
But-
And you can do that.
And you can do that, yeah. That's, you know, that's a project that will take you a lot longer than this one. But it's a way of doing it. There's more than one way of doing everything.
Of course there is. Of course
But
there
this
is.
way gives you a little bit more accuracy and is a little bit quicker.
Oh.
So we cut all of the strips, as many as you need for each colourway. And again, if you change the variation of the fabrics, you'll work out how many you'll need of each one.
Yes.
You can only get 4 2.5 inch strips out of a long quarter. That's all I'm saying. You know, if you want to make it with more in the same, you
Then
will
we've got
need
it
more
for sale
fabric.
by the
Yeah,
half
we've got
metre
it by the half
behind you.
metre.
There
The
you
only
go.
one we haven't got is the turquoise, unfortunately, which is, I'm a turquoise person. It was my favourite one. And there wasn't as much as that on the box.
Oh, well, that was very sad.
So,
Do you know who else is here this morning? We have also got, everyone's saying it's wet and soggy, Jane, so it's a good job you brought us
it's
this.
perfect sewing day with a
Yeah,
nice bright
yeah.
rainbow sunshine.
Anne's with us. Anne mentioned it. Hi, it's only me. Oh, no, is it only me? I set the reminder, but it doesn't kick in as it used to. We will look into that. And Julia and Helen are here, and Michelle. And, Ali G, obviously. And Heather Wombell. I like to think of that as Womble.
Yeah.
I really hope that's how it's pronounced. Morning, Heather. And Anne Martin says it's very, very, very wet in Bodmin in Cornwall. I can well believe that, having lived pretty much there. In fact, yesterday I did post a picture of me on Bodmin Moor with a 6-hour-old Freddie.
I can't believe that. I saw that picture and I was like, you've just given birth and you're standing on top of the moor with a baby.
Well, I had to go and check the horses, didn't I? You know, I'd had a nap. It was fine.
We all want Natasha energy, don't we?
It's also wet and windy in Torrington. That's all I'm going to say. Morning, Laurie. Come on then.
Okay, so we're making the strip sets. You make 4 going one way and 4 going the other way, and I'm going to talk about this now. So this is strip set 1 that I've done. So I've got fabric A, B, C and D, and then it goes the other way. So one's going from left to right and the other one's going from right to left, staggered in the same sequence but staggered opposites way.
Looks
There's
like
a
a
reason
rocket.
for doing this. It saves your fabric, it prevents wastage. I tried doing it with one full strip, turning it together, and I couldn't get all 4 pieces out. So this is why we're doing it this way, because I always try and find the quickest way of doing things, and I thought, oh, I know, I'll just tip it together, and I was like, oh no, I can only get 3 wedges from each one.
Oh.
So I did have a little catastrophe with the fabric. So you've got strip set 1 like that. You've got strip set 2.
They're just gorgeous, aren't
like
they?
this. So this one's got B, C, D and E in it.
Right.
And strip set 3, which has got C, D, E and F.
Hang on, does this mean, Jane, that we are going to have 2 of these quilts in our lives? Amazing.
Possibly. Yeah.
Amazing. Oh,
Gemma
Margaret
really wants to see it with a white background.
Does she now?
Just saying.
Does she now?
So let's show you how to get these strip sets together. Come without the rotary cutter.
Oh,
Where have I put the rotary cutter?
I don't know. Have you got one in your thingamajiggy doodah thing on your desk?
No.
Oh, did I take it to her? Oh, there's a
can use
little one.
Little one will be fine. So I've got 2.5 inch wide width of fabric strips, and I'm putting them together, and I'm just going to cut them in half. Now you can cut them in half along the seam with your scissors, or you can use your rotary cutter and just literally
Teeny tiny rotary cutter.
little tiny sliver. It's my fault because I should have made sure I'd got everything this morning. I just should never assume the rotary cutter would be on the table.
Yeah, no, I think it's still in the car. I think I also got to that stage where it was raining and I couldn't be bothered to go out and get it from the car, so just used the little one and went, that'll do. Just slovenly. Jane, that's me, slovenly. Oh,
Well,
Margaret says that
on
the
to the
forest
next
looks like medlars, not a well-known fruit, so
Yes.
clearly not bagels. I don't know what a medlar is. I'm going to have
It's
to go
like,
look it
I
up.
think, and I stand to be corrected, I think they're a little bit like apples to look at, but tiny. And they make really nice jam.
And a bit like quinces.
Yeah, but are quinces more like do they have a stone in the middle like a quince? Is it more like a
Is
a
it
stone
what
fruit?
a quince? Is it what a medlars to apples? What quinces are to plums?
Possibly. I'm not, but I
God, did you used to have those at school? Those questions?
yes.
Oh, they should do my head in. Susie says, I finished my June Taylor tote bag. Great for beginners like me. Finding small projects quilting helps me to get used to everything. Most of all, enjoying the new experience. Thanks to Natasha Makes and the team. It's a very absolute pleasure. I love the she's got me at it now. June Taylor bag. The Quilt As You Go. They are just fabulous.
They are. Yeah. They're a nice project to have, aren't they? And everything's there. You know, and it's like painting by numbers.
Yeah.
Really clever.
Oh, and we got it completely the wrong way. Chartreuse rhymes with hers, not moose. Oh, I remember the moose was
The
in. The
moose
trouble
bit,
is I'm
yeah.
more likely to remember moose than I am hers. Chartreuse. Yeah.
Oh, it's all good.
It's going to be moose.
So you can see here, I've cut the fabrics in half along the width of the strip. I'm not going to give you a measurement because sometimes even in the same collection, the width of fabric is slightly different. We're cutting the strip in half. I think I put in the pattern 21-ish, 22. Don't worry if it's a bit bigger, a bit smaller, as long as it's in half. Now what I did do is I kept the strip sets. I kept the one set with all the white bits of selvage and the other one with the pattern piece, just to keep me together and know where I was going with it.
You're organised, really, aren't
Try to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work. So we're going to lay them out, and I suggest that you lay them out on your mat while you sew and keep them in the order, because it is so easy to put the wrong ones together.
Oh, they look so pretty.
I'm just going to change this to 1/4 inch seam, which is 03. Take the stitch
I
length
see
up.
Alison's joining. She says, I'm late. Got engrossed in work. Weird.
I get that, but then my work is scrummy. We're staggering them approximately 2.5 inches back. I think I said 2.5. I might have said 3. What have I said?
Whatever Jane said in the thingy, do that. Is that right? Laurie
Yeah,
says, hi
it's
Jane, the
just
quilt
like-
looks absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, 2 inches down from each other. So yeah, 2 inches, 2.5, including the selvage, if you like. But just approximately that. Don't worry too much if it's a bit bigger or a bit shorter. It's only really to save you minimising your waste, really. So we're going to just join those strips together in pairs.
Oh, we've had a telling off from Myra.
Oh dear.
She says, what have we become? Talking about cannibal birds, nearly choked on my pills. Went for a toilet break, came back, and now you're talking poo. Tut, 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 lowering the tone a bit. Yeah, sorry. Like I say, I feel I overshared, but Eric's an old boy. Christine says, I would like to do this in a 14-inch block and make a book pillow for my granddaughter who loves anything rainbow colour. Oh, yes.
You can make your strips smaller. I'm going to show you the method. If you make your strips thinner, you can use the same method but with thinner strips. I'm not sure about what the dimensions would be of the triangles to fit in, but you could, once you'd made your diamond, you could work that out on your mat. You could lay it on your mat and work out what size square you'd need to your triangle.
Yes.
Yeah, you can make it smaller. You can make it bigger. It's just a case of using wider strips. Now you could make it smaller with the kits, but you couldn't make it bigger.
Okay. Oh, no, that's good. Karen
Because
says
you haven't got enough fabric for because the green, on this one, the green fabric, we need 4 strips, and as I said, you'll only get 4
you could, of
out
course,
of a long
Jane,
quarter.
always buy yourself an extra ½ metre of the green.
You certainly could.
We's got a bit. Karen says that she's been looking forward to this morning's workshop since last week.
Oh yes, because we gave you a sneaky peek, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Everyone's saying happy birthday to Ali as well.
Yeah, happy birthday, Ali. Probably not the birthday that you were hoping you were going to get at the moment, but make the best of it.
Do you know what? We had because we had to make Freddie's birthday special yesterday, so obviously we ate a lot of cake. There was quite a lot of Lego, possibly not what you would consider a great birthday, Ali.
I don't know, we all like a bit of Lego.
Yeah, and then a special tea. Now, Jane, you are a mother of boys.
Yes.
What would you expect a perfect dinner to be requested by a 7-year-old boy?
Well, knowing Freddie,
It was never going to be normal, was it?
it's probably, I know that he likes lobster linguine, doesn't he?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was exactly what he requested
Yeah.
for his birthday dinner.
Now,
What
I don't
7-year-old
think that my boys at
requests
7
that?
even knew what lobster was, never mind lobster linguine.
I mean, what? Yeah, I had to learn how to make. Do you know what? Actually, I did a cracking job on that last night.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie.
that's good.
Yeah.
Because tell them where he normally has his lobster linguine, Natasha. Because it's not just he likes lobster linguine, he likes to go to
The Ivy.
the Ivy for his lobster linguine.
Right, I need to justify this before everyone
I'm
goes
sorry,
like,
you're
what
just posh.
I need to justify we went for a big birthday to the Ivy as a treat,
Yeah.
and that was what Freddie chose. Now, my husband has always insisted that the children come with us to restaurants and they learn manners and they learn how to behave when they are out.
Yeah.
And not run around restaurants causing havoc and
no,
mayhem.
my children were the same.
Yeah,
We took them
so-
everywhere with us and they learnt how to behave in a certain situation.
Which is great until it's a posh birthday. You're like, oh. And they also insist on coming. Emily, they were amazing with the kids, I have to say. And they made Emily a little mocktail because she wanted mine. That's not going to happen. And yeah, this is back in the days. I have to say making it at home was much cheaper.
Yes.
I'm going to look into doing that more. Lo's eating scrambled eggs, but she's still hungry.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's all good. Oh, Lorraine says, looks gorgeous. Have bought mine and switching printer on to print instructions as we speak.
Oh, God.
Keen, Lorraine,
Amazing.
do it. Jess, morning, Jess says, love those Tula fabrics, scrummy, plus quilt. Wow. Literally.
I love you, Jess. That's how I felt about it when I was looking at it on the shelf and I was like, Natasha, are you doing anything with these fabrics? And she was like, why?
They weren't even in 24 hours and you'd nabbed them.
I was like, I can do something with these. Let me do something with them.
Yeah.
I love rainbow. I just love a rainbow. Whatever.
Yep.
Love rainbow colours.
Yep. Caroline says that she's loving the fabric, feeling so tempted. I have made a hole in my stash this lockdown, so it would be rude not to plug it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, if you don't plug that hole,
your house is going to get cold for a start. You've
Yeah.
got the insulation.
all sorts of weird vortexes could happen. I don't know if that's a thing, but you know, I'm sure that I will come across vortexes or something in one of my podcasts that I listen to in the evening. The quote reminds me of one of those kaleidoscopes we had as children. Do you still
Yeah.
have them? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you do. Jane, you know what I completely forgot to tell everyone about if we're talking rainbows?
Yes.
The threads.
Yes.
The threads,
Where
they're
are-
behind you.
Behind
on the,
me.
There's behind you.
Behind you.
On the dresser. So,
I tried to sneak some of these in my bag, but Natasha noticed.
yeah, no, I
It's
really
just
did.
like, you've only had 4 of this delivery. She was like, no, I haven't. I've already stock checked.
Yeah, no. We know. So I'm just tentatively dipping a toe with these to see if you would like them.
Let me just press this and then I'll get them out.
So here's the thing. We all use far too much plastic. We don't want it going into a landfill. We don't want it going into the oceans, right? I think we all feel that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think everybody's aware of the situation, aren't they?
So when Gutermann decide that they are going to make their polyester threads, their general purpose polyester threads, out of recycled plastic bottles, I'm not going to lie, Jane, I am all over that.
Look at these. Shall I take
All
them up
over it.
close?
And then, yes, my thingy just needs a moment just to reload. When they go and make them in gorgeous rainbow colours,
Dun, dun, dun. Is it going to come up? Yay!
it
Look at
would
that.
quite frankly be rude not to.
They are sumptuous.
They're really gorgeous, aren't they? They're
Yeah.
100-metre spools, Gutermann thread. I was having a conversation with lovely Susie from Ashmead Designs yesterday, and I said, what does she EPP with? And she says Gutermann, because wherever she is in the world, you know, in the days when you could travel, she said that she could always pretty much guarantee she could go into any store and find Gutermann thread.
Yeah. They're a good thread, they really are. And of course there's this thing, we have this thing, don't we, about not using polyester thread with cotton fabric, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it reacts differently and it will, over time, wear your cotton fabric out because it's a different fibre. But we're talking long time. You're going to be long gone before it makes a hole in your quilt because you've used polyester thread, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. And because it's polyester, it's got that lovely sheen on it.
Let's swap for another colour.
Which will give you, look at this pastel one, which will give you a nice sheen when you're doing your quilting.
Now, you see, if you pop that with your ocean colours that you chose, Jane. I'm just, you know.
Yeah, just saying.
Just saying.
Look at that.
Yeah. So I'd go for the bright rainbows for the Tula.
Yeah, and it works with the sunset.
Yeah.
Because you've got those lovely pinks and reds in there. Coat pinks, those purples up.
Doesn't it?
It's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
But this set here, I'm going to show you this one. Look at that for every day.
Oh,
You've
it's
got
perfect.
all your necessary everyday colours. If you've got somebody in your family that's maybe starting their first home, going off on their own adventures,
Yeah.
that little pack there with a pack of needles and some little scissors would be perfect for them to just to take, you know, sew a button on, and whatever they might need to do. Starting up your basic sewing box.
Perfect.
That's a perfect set.
Well, it's got all the colours you're going to use day to day.
Yeah.
So we've got those. We've also got, for those of you that like to buy bulk and get, you know, the discount that entails, we've also got, look, these aren't sexy, but they're everyday.
Look at this one.
And they come in a really nice box.
Look at that. That is just what you need.
But it's your black and your white.
There's
Done.
12 of each, isn't there?
Yeah, it's a
12?
24 pack. Yeah.
You've got, and it's so beautifully packaged. I mean, it's just the packaging, if nothing
Well, yeah,
else.
because if you spin it around and look at the back, you've got all the stuff about, without them all falling out. Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. That's it.
You've got all about the, all about them coming from recycled bottles,
Yeah.
which means that, you know, for me, that's guilt-free sewing.
Yeah, and it, you know, you're doing your little bit for the environment as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
You've got this lovely pack here, which has got.
Oh, now this, so this is your 20 pack if you want all the colours. So you've got
your
all your
rainbow
really
in there
useful
and some
ones,
of your nice, useful basic colours. Perfect.
And then you've got the big bad boy.
This one for your piecing and your general sewing. You know, we've got dressmaker ladies amongst us.
And that's absolutely
Well,
perfect.
that's
Again,
perfect. And
these
there's-
are your
there's-
day-to-day. What I love, you've
There's
got...
6 of each colour, isn't there?
Yeah. So that's the big bumper one.
Yeah.
You've got your blacks, you've got 3 different greys in there, a navy, a light blue, that's a really useful blue, a white, and of course your red in there.
Yeah,
Again, they are your bread and butter colours,
absolutely.
which is why they've put them in there. So I completely forgot to tell you about them. Luckily Jane was to hand. Again, we'll
They're
be
just
frisked
gorgeous.
on leaving the building.
Absolutely lovely.
Um,
Nice. They've been sat on the side and we've been like trying to, you know, make them disappear.
Into
like,
your
sure.
bag, Jane, into your bag. Claire would like to know, can you use jelly roll strips for this?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
And Lo is trying to make me feel better by saying that her son used to eat pickled cuttlefish and baby octopus for breakfast when he was little. I didn't even know you could pickle cuttlefish, but go for it. Go for it. I'm sure it's probably ridiculously healthy.
Yeah.
Lobster linguine, says Karen. Bless him. Good luck to him. My youngest is 18 on Friday, and he's not getting that. Look, I mean, in the scheme of things, a couple of lobster tails cost £7, and then some pasta and a pasta sauce. I think all in dinner cost £10.
Yeah.
Bargain.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And one happy boy, which is all we want in life, isn't it, really?
Emily had 4 bowls. 4 bowls. Captain Small.
She's a
Straight
growing
into
girl.
that.
She's
I
a
know.
growing girl.
I know. Fiona says that's exactly what we did with our son Tash, and it's paid dividends. He's 25 now. I'm glad, because it just sounds like we're stupidly posh, which we're not. Well, you know us. You know that. Jess has said that she bet that we stroked and sniffed those spots of fabric. It's like you can see us, Jess.
Yeah, it's incredible working here, to be honest. It's like being in a sweetie shop for a fabraholic. It's
You're in safe hands. It's all fine.
Yeah.
This is your safe space. Okay, so Lowe's machine will only sew with Gutermann. Oh, well, there you go. You see?
Yeah, there are some machines that aren't happy with other threads.
Oh, so it's made in the EU. The way that it's spun, they've got this extraction system thing, which sort of lifts out any loose linty bits, so it's not meant to fluff up your machine as much.
No.
Is my understanding. Becky says, lovely threads, loving the environmental side even more. Well, it was absolutely no-brainer for me when I saw them. I was like, yep, okay. So, you know.
It is something that we consider, isn't it? It's,
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we're all thinking more and more about our footprint on this lovely planet of ours. Yeah. So, and what I've done is I'm pressing all the seams all the same way, but what I
Okay.
did do, or tried to do, I don't know if I've done it on the demonstration one, but I definitely did it on this, is I pressed set strip A one way, set strip 2 the other way, and 3 the same way as 1 and 4 the same way as 2. Doesn't matter which way, but I did find it helped it when I was joining the pieces together.
Okay, that's good. Karen says that she just found a huge package of fabric under her wood store. No prizes for guessing where that's come from.
Oops.
Donna has said it was clearly the fabric fairy. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one. That's what we're calling her, the fabric fairy.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's her friend Natasha that shares her fabric with her.
I'm so generous with my fabric sharing. Absolutely. Sometimes that's harder than others, I have to say. The Sanderson yesterday, I was like, I can't let this go. When I have to hand that over to Inga for cutting, there's going to be...
like a tug of war thing,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's like,
Yeah. Really grudging, especially as I don't know if I can get any more of it. I ask every time I talk to that supplier, do you have any more of the Sanderson? Because it's really pretty. Jess says that she's got the Gutermann RPET thread. Fab stuff. They also do a top stitch thread, by the way. Brilliant thread. Oh, well, I need to go and get that then,
good,
don't I?
yeah.
Thanks for that little heads up. I like that.
so you can see here we've got, this is strip set 4, so we've got fabric D, E, F, and then we go back to fabric A.
Nice.
So that's strip set 4. We've got the one going from left to right, right to left, and the other one going from left to right. Now, you're going to start cutting these up. Let me just put these out of the way. We'll start with strip set 1.
Okay.
You're going to need to cut 4 pieces from each strip set. I'm going to show you on the one piece in the first place, and then I'm going to show you how I made sure that I was going the right way, because it's very easy to get these strip sets muddled up, get them the wrong way up and everything, and cut your fabric slightly wrong. So it's this point that we have to sort of take our time, keep everything on our mat, keep everything placed out and keep looking at it. I can't emphasize enough how much you should really best press starch your fabric, because you're going to be working, once we've started cutting this, you are going to be working with biased edges, which obviously stretch. Sometimes that works in your advantage and sometimes it doesn't. So best press to the nth degree with your fabric.
Okay.
You're going to need a ruler with a 45-degree line on it.
Yeah.
Just because that helps you get that initial cut. I just looked at the stripology we've got, and it's just not quite wide enough once I get the 45-degree line on to get a proper from the beginning to the end cut. It sort of starts up here.
Annoying.
Which might, but once we've done this initial cut, you could use a stripology ruler, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So you want to take your 45-degree line and line it up with one of your seam lines, and just slide your ruler across until you've got to the very edge of the selvage on the one fabric. As you can see, that takes a lot of that fabric one there out. And if you look at this, you might think, well, actually, I could maybe stagger that one down slightly more. But it was easier just to say, just stagger them all by 2 inches. For the initial.
Yeah.
But you know, as you get to play with this pattern, you'll think, well, actually, I don't need to stagger that one as much as those two. So you make your first cut, 45-degree. So
Your tiny rotary
with your little tiny rotary cutter. And now what you can do is you can place your stripology on here if you want to do, because we're going to be cutting straight edges. So what I imagine you would do, and I haven't done this before, so we're live on air and it could turn out into a disaster. You might need to do the first cut and then move your ruler again. So it might not be easy to do with the Stripology. In fact, I'm just thinking I'm not even going to attempt it, because I'll get 1, maybe 2 strips out of that, and then I'm going to have to move it again. So if you've got a longer one, you could probably do
Would it. And it didn't fit on if you spun it and did it on the 45 degree
If you do
line?
it on the 45 degree line, if I put it that way, no, that's not going to work, because you've got to have the strips going that way.
But no, but when you initially
lined it up with the 45, if I put it on here, on this bottom one, I haven't got enough to carry on cutting it.
But, okay. So you
That's
can't
not
line
the
it up
45,
on
but that's the 45. So if you lined it up with the top, you haven't got enough at the bottom.
That's annoying.
It's just not quite long enough.
Do you know what? That Stripology is blinking brilliant, but everything has its limits.
It does.
Yeah.
You know, we always find this out. You've got tools to do jobs. That'll be fantastic for cutting new strips initially.
Yeah.
You'll whiz through that and it'll be brilliant. But it's just not quite right for this one.
That's fair enough.
So again, cutting your 2.5 inch wide strips. So you've got this line now, and you can turn your fabric like that, so you are cutting straight if you know, cutting at a 45 degree feels a little bit alien to you. So you're going to just line that up. You've got your 2.5 there, mark, and you're going to line that cut edge up. And from this piece, you're going to cut 4 2.5 inch wedges, strips, however you want to
Perfect.
phrase it.
I'm just giggling because Diane's just joined us. She's late to the show, had to wash the Maine Coon's hinder parts.
Oh
she
dear.
was uncooperative. Now, actually, Diane, you'll be able to tell me about this, because my friend had Maine Coons and they seemed to love the mud. And I wasn't sure if it was just hers or if it's like a Maine Coon kind of a thing. But when they moved to Dubai, they had to repaint their entire utility room because the Maine Coons would come in covered in mud and then just shake everywhere. And that's quite a lot of fur from quite a big cat to be shaking around all over the shop.
So you're going to have your 4 sets.
Oh, hang on.
That way.
Beautiful.
Okay, 2.5 inches wide.
Yeah.
Okay, so and we'll do the same with the other one. Now, with your other strip set, just make sure that you've got your fabric order the same way. So I started with fabric A at the bottom. It's very easy to do that and start cutting, and what will happen is you'll have strips going the same way, which is not what you want. And once I've done this one, I'll show you with the other strip sets how I did it slightly quicker. So, and this is where I have to juggle my 45 degree line on the ruler.
I'm so glad you have to do that too, because
There we are, it's the white one on this side.
yeah, I always get it the wrong way. I just stand there twiddling it around like some baton twirler.
Yeah, that's it. The ruler I have at home has a 45 degree line going the opposite way on it, so I don't have to turn it around.
Well, we need to get you one of these then, don't we? Lo's hoping that her bindy tooly thingy turns up today. Poor Popo Pats are so busy at the moment. Oh, Lo, you make me chuckle every day. Sonia says, brilliant idea what Gutterman are doing. Hurry. She's going to get the motor grunge. And loving the family-friendly atmosphere. Well, thank goodness, really, because there's not a lot of choice.
Do.
That's what we got. We don't know another way. Oh, Anne had her Stripology for Christmas. Just trying to think of protecting it from accidents. Do you know what? Mine goes across country with me always. Fingers crossed, touch wood, never had an issue.
No. I'm going to say they're quite robust. I mean, they are a little bit wobbly because of the structure of them, but they're still quite robust. They're not going to go anywhere.
Oh, now you see, Ginny is putting it out there for why we should all have more than one sewing machine. She says that my all singing, all dancing prima donna Janome refuses to sew the recycled Gutterman, but my old faithful Janome loves it.
Yeah.
See?
So you can see now that we've got strips.
Oh, nice.
That face in the opposite directions to each other. So you've got 4 going one way and 4 going the other way.
I mean, that
And you
already
can
looks
see
divine.
That's what's happened. So it's that way really, but that's what will happen when you put them together, when you've got your diamonds made.
Beautiful.
So your keep them just, I can't tell you enough how much being organised does help with this. So keep them together.
Are you basically saying this isn't the quilt for me, Jane? It's okay, you can be honest.
When I'm making things, I'm a bit like, oh yeah, there's stuff everywhere. But I really found that I had to be quite, right, that's pile 1, that's pile 2, that's pile 3. You can put them on top of each other because obviously they face in different directions, so that's fine. And then when I was doing this, I thought, there's got to be a simpler way of cutting these strips. And I thought, well, actually, if you put them right sides together...
Does it do it?
And line them up. Now this is the bit, you need to make sure they are lined up. And this might help if you have one strip set ironed one way and one strip set ironed the other way on the same strip sets, because then they'll lock into each other. But you'll need to make sure that you've got a really sharp, brand new rotary cutter blade on your rotary cutter.
Right.
Because obviously you've got 2 sets of fabric and there's room for movement.
It's going to be fun then, isn't it, with our tiddly tiny rotary cutter? Do you want me to nip out to the car and get you the proper one?
No, this will be fine. I'm sure they'll be fine. So again, we're just going to line up the 4, and this I've got a stitch line here on my reverse side. So I'm lining it up with the stitch line because, you know, with the best will in the world, I'm hoping that I can sew quite straight. So that's what I'm using on here. And I'm going to cut, again, like I did before, just lining it up so that I get the minimum amount of wastage. So I'm looking at this strip set here, so I can just
So I have a question about
slide
that.
it across.
Well, actually, lots of people have been asking about this. How do you stop your strips bananaing when you cut it, when you sew them?
I sew 2 together going that way, and this is why when you do the salvages, if you've got the salvages the same,
You know which.
so wool one way, and then when I press those pairs open and then I sew the pairs together, I'll sew from the opposite direction.
Perfect, thank you.
That prevents
That's the one. That's the one. Audra says, OMG, these colours are amazing. Yes, Audra, you need them in your life. And Helen says that Steve has taken an interest in dressmaking and sewing. He says he can't wait to become one of Natasha's strippers. He's going to be so disappointed, isn't he, Helen?
No,
so disappointed. So disappointed. And just lots of love for this fabric. It is, Lo said it's like oil on water. Yeah, so it's called mineral, isn't it? And it's meant to be like agates and stuff like that. But you are right.
Yes, it does. It's got that lovely, and it's nice to have like a tone on tone. So you get the colour, but it's got movement to it. So it's not too. Cause I think sometimes just using solids can be a little bit flat. It doesn't give you enough texture to your fabrics. So yeah, I think this is lovely because you get the boldness of the colours, but there's a bit of texture to the pattern, so it gives the quilt a little bit of movement. So you can see we've cut 4 cuts there, but we've actually made
8.
And so they still go in the opposite direction. So by placing them right sides together and cutting them all at the same time, saves you time, and you're sure then to have them cut the right way for each one. So I'm going to just quickly do the other 2 strip sets because I can't demonstrate without them. So I'm going to cut those the same way.
Well, that's perfect.
Not very exciting television. If you're going to do them, make sure that they are all in the same direction. So you've got the lowest number at the bottom, if you like, or the lowest letter, or the first letter. So this is B, C, D and E.
Okay.
I'm just looking at that one. That's so I've just skipped a strip set there. This one will go in this way.
Nice, nice, nice. Lo would like to know if we can get our sewing sorceress a hat to wear. Says Jeff keeps asking why I keep saying at the screen, which. It's all good, it's all good. Liesel's had work commitments. How rude. She says, but that quilt is gorgeous.
Thank you.
There's also some upset because Ali's already got her bias bindery thingy and Lo's still waiting. She's wondering what Ali's doing to the postman to get hers early.
Yeah.
It might...
This little situation that we're in, isn't it? Some of them are a little bit short on personnel, aren't they? And some areas are struggling more than others.
Yes. Oh yeah, so Diane DeWitt, which is at this very moment a very appropriate surname, says, yes, my Maine Coon cats are fascinated by water and go out in all weathers with their coats.
Is it something to do with where they come from, the breed of cat?
Diane, we need to know. They are fabulous cats. They were on my list of cats I wanted.
Are they from Maine, America, Maine, or is it somewhere else?
I think so. That's my understanding. So I think they are sort of hardy, outdoory, all kind of outdoor type cats.
Yeah, well, they look like lions anyway, don't they?
Yeah. Lorraine says, talking about clothes, will you be doing the golden rule? Yes. Yes.
Oh, can you see what I just did then?
No, I wasn't watching. Did it have
just
to come?
Slipped my ruler. This is another thing of just cutting.
Take time.
So just take your time, and also, if that happens, don't panic. Just go back, line your 45-degree line up with your edge. You've got a little bit of manoeuvre, not very much, and you can just recut that 45-degree line,
and you're all good.
And then you can start again. So don't panic too much.
Okay, we're not panicking. Claire says, I've heard about this best press. Should you best press your fabric before doing this? Yes.
Yes, I would strongly recommend that you do.
I would.
You don't have, I mean, we like Best Press, it's a good product and it does the job perfectly. But if you can't get hold of it, but you can because we stock it, laundry starch works. The only thing with laundry starch is it can leave a bit of a residue sometimes.
Yeah, you don't want that.
And so you don't want that, but Best Press doesn't.
So we've got the Best Presses in stock, and we also have, in fact, actually we need to explain to a handful of you, we were told that we could get the big bottles in the garden rose. Turns out it's not actually the case, but you bought it. So what we've done is we've sent you 3 little bottles, which means you're actually getting a bit extra, but have that on us. Because, you know. You're right there, Jane.
Yeah, just,
Flipping
wafting
around
with
all over the
fabric
shop.
around.
Yeah,
so this is
do it.
strip set 4. And happy accident, I have pressed my seams in opposite directions on this strip set, so I can lock those in,
Nice.
which will help with the cutting.
Nice, nice, nice.
And I was just making sure that I got the right fabric on the bottom of the strip set so that when I'm cutting them, they're all cut the same way.
This just fascinates me. It's amazing. All very clever. Oh yeah, so the other thing is, Claire, I would really recommend getting one of the misting bottles as well, because it makes your Best Press go an awful lot further. It also gives a much finer misting. Our Best Press lasts so much longer, doesn't it?
Yeah,
because of the misting bottle. They are also great for spraying hair detangler on dogs.
The Best Press is also
Ask
really
me how I know.
the Best Press is really good for getting that stubborn crease out of the middle fold of your fabric as well.
It's just all round awesome stuff.
It does get rid of the creases as well in your fabric really nicely, as well as giving your fabric a bit of substance to it.
So my newfound favourite thing to do, Jane, is to
scraps.
They're gorgeous scraps. Oh, I've got to make up the scrap bags later, actually.
Ooh.
That's my next job to do. My newfound favourite thing to do is to Best Press like my half meters before I even cut into them at all. Because then if there's going to be some fabrics I've discovered, there's just a little bit of shrinkage even just with applying a wet spray to them.
Yeah, sometimes even when you just put the steam on your fabric, they can go.
All cotton fabrics will have a degree of shrinkage.
Yeah. Now this one here, I've just noticed we haven't moved it across enough underneath, obviously, so it's cut into the selvage. So I've got enough on this to cut another strip from there, so I can just do that and hope that we're not cutting into the selvage on that one.
Vienna would really like to know if everyone recommends pre-washing their fabric. Right, well, let's be honest about that. We don't,
no,
but we do Best Press.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
It's one of those things. You can do it or you don't do it. It's not.
If I'm dressmaking, absolutely always.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 because I don't want that shrinkage happening once I've made an outfit, and I just, no way do I then want to have to diet to get into what I've made. That's just wrong and rude, and it's just not a thing.
Yeah.
So always, if I'm dressmaking, I can't be bothered with quilting fabric. That's so lazy, but I just can't. I've got other things to do. I will best press it, because even if I washed it, I would then best press it anyway.
Yes.
And so that tends to just sort it all out. If you are someone that has allergies and this, that and the other, obviously, you know, we are all around animals here. You've got a dog and a cat at home. I've got a cat and a dog and a horse and a goodness knows what, and a duck. Can you have allergies to ducks? I don't know.
I don't think so. Maybe. Feathers,
and we eat
people
nuts.
do, don't they?
So, you know, if you are someone who has any of those, then, you know, wash
Now,
it first.
While Natasha was just talking, I was just putting the piles of the cut pieces in the same, that are going in the same direction in the right order. So you can see that forms a diamond and the other one does. So you've now got 4 strips going that way and 4 strips going that way of each colour set, which when you sew them together will form your diamond. Now, again, lay it out on your mat, keep it laid out. It is so easy to put them together, sew down the wrong side, pick it up and put it down the wrong way after you've sewn it and pressed it. So it's quite, I would say, for at least for your first one, just lay it out, keep it laid out, sew it, put it back, sew the next set. So we're going to do the same. We're going to sew them in pairs. Now, I said to you about sewing all of the strip set one way and pressing all the strip set 2 the other way. And this is where this comes in handy. Now, we're not going to just put them together on top of each other like this, because that won't work. You have to offset the seam by 1/4 of an inch. Now, the best way of doing this, can we go close up?
Yeah.
You can measure it, and that's fine. But if you look at where these seams fold over, I don't know if we can see it here. You've got the one strip set, the seam going that way, and the other strip set, the seam going that way. Now, if you've used an accurate 1/4 of an inch, if they lay on top of each other, that's your offset seam. You can see there where the strips are, it's about 1/4 of an inch at the beginning there. It's just that tag. So I always look at the seams. Now I do pin, she says. Look, I'm not very well organised this morning, am I? What have I done
Oh
with the
no,
pin
they
cushion?
went to Hochanda as well. Oh, there's your pin cushion in the other room. Do you want me to ask Gemma to get you your pin
If
cushion
you
from the
wouldn't
other room?
mind. Sorry, Gemma.
Soz. You
you
know what
are
it
going to-
was? We stood there for nearly 10 minutes chatting before the show.
Yeah, we mustn't do that. We
No,
mustn't talk
no,
to
no,
each
no.
other.
No.
But you really are going to need to pin with this.
Gemma's just loading up the rest of the Tula that we've got left over after the kits by the ½ metre, by the way. So they'll be up on the website any minute now. I can hear a rustling of some sort of pin cushion based fairy.
It is magical.
Maybe that was wishful thinking. Otherwise, if not, I'll go and get some. But pin, you say, Jane?
Pin, because, and I want to show you about pinning. We haven't got any, no.
Oh, hang on, there are pins in the pin cushion behind you.
Yes.
In
Let's borrow the
the dog's crutch.
Let's borrow the lovely.
Is the only way I can describe that.
Yeah.
Soz about that.
So,
Oh, Gemma says, where is it? Is it on your desk?
yeah, I think it's behind the sewing machine. Might be. So, what I'm doing, if we can go on a close-up on this, Natasha, again.
Yep. Oh,
Oh, here she is. Magic
she
hand.
is. I hear the
My
creak.
lovely. Thanks.
Thanks, Gem.
So you've got your seam, you'll feel it underneath. You can feel that seam there. And where that hits the sewn line, pop your pin in and just go along like that. And that should be your 1/4 of an inch. Now, I was saying to you that sometimes when you're working on a bias, it helps because you might find, with all the best will in the world, that some of them are a little bit shorter than others. And so, because it's a bias, it will just stretch a little bit we're not pulling it like by 1/2 inch, but if you need to, you can just ease it slightly. A bit like when you're easing your sleeve and your seam.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can just ease it to match up. And sometimes you might find it's a little bit baggy, and in which case you can just slightly pull the one underneath just to make it fit.
It works, doesn't it? Somehow
it fits together.
It works.
Just the reason you need to offset your seam obviously is because you're working on this 45-degree angle, and this is the way that you'll get those points to match up. What I will say to you is, don't worry too much if there are a few threads out when you come to open it up. You know the sort of person you are, you know what you can live with. And there were a couple on mine and I was like, oh, that's not quite together.
Where, Jane? Where
Yeah, we
were
could go
they?
close up and show them. What I will say to you is, the more you undo this and try and put it back together, because you're working with biased edges, the harder you'll find it. It will just stretch and stretch and stretch, and you'll end up with nothing.
Jane,
Unpick
could
it
you
once, possibly.
Do me a favour and just go back into position as if you're sewing. That, just down a bit, no, head down, like you're looking at it. That is like the best punk rocker hairdo ever, because you've got all of the spots from there. That's like amazing. It's your halo. Sorry, halo. I was like, oh, that's a good shot. Yeah. Don't do that. Naomi says, hi Natasha, in my advent box you gave me some rubbery clippy things. What are they for? Jane, over here, can you see that thread which has got, I think that might...
The bobbin buddy.
Yeah. Is this the rubbery clippy thing
that
you... Hang on, let's pop it in the close-up. Is that the one, Naomi? Because if it is, Jane's going to demonstrate exactly what it does.
So you filled your bobbin and you've got your thread, and now you're changing your machine thread and you've got a bobbin, and you're like, oh, well, how am I going to keep these together? You put your bobbin on that little bit there, and you stick that rubbery bit there into the top of your thread, and it keeps them together. So you always got the right bobbin with the right thread. And it works with every style of reel.
It's awesome.
Is that fantastic?
No, that's not the one. Okay, good. I'm now trying. Rubbery clippy thing. What rubbery clippy thing? What other rubbery clippy things did we put in?
No, because the Wonder Clips aren't rubbery, are they?
No, it would have been Wonder Clip. We put Wonder Clips in. Rubbery clippy thing. Oh, you're going to have to send me a picture.
Now just go close up on this.
Yeah.
If you have a look.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I don't know if we can see. That one is just a little bit. It's like 2-3 threads. I'm not going to worry about that.
No.
Because by the time I've quilted it and everything else, I'm going to be trouble finding it. But when you're right on top of it and you're doing it, you might be thinking, oh no, that's out. Try to avoid unpicking as much as possible is all I'm going to say to you, because you're just setting yourself up for heartbreak, really, because it's like, oh, it still won't go together.
However, saying that, we do have the rubber-tipped unpickers if you need them, because they're really rather nice. Claire is loving the clip things. They are fab. And now, Naomi, I don't know which clip things you mean. I'm racking my brains trying to think what we put in. Rubbery clippy things.
Just want to put the pin in here
What
and
other
just
rubbery
double check
clippy
that.
things did we put in, Jane?
I can't think. Now I'm just going to go close up again, because on this set, because of the way the strips are pressed, you won't get, as I said before about that line, the strip over. You're going to have to leave a 1/4 inch gap on these ones, because they both face out the opposite way. So you have to leave a gap on this one. But you'll feel under here. You can feel the seam of the one underneath, and you want it to come there. That's about 1/4 inch. So if you put your pin in there, you can see that's where the join is. I can feel under here, I can feel the seam of the fabric underneath, and then that's my stitch line. So that's where I'm going with that one. You will find that sometimes you've got the seams going on top of each other, and that's easy to see, and then the other time you're like, oh, hang on, why can't I get this one to lie on top of each other? And it's because the seams are going in opposite directions. But if you can feel that seam underneath and you've got your stitch line, you'll be able to see that approximate 1/4 of an inch there. That makes sense. So
Perfect
sew
sense.
that together.
Perfect sense.
But I think if you offset that first point about 1/4 of an inch, you'll be able to see that you're in the right place, more or less. It might need a little bit of manipulation. Now, I'm not going to say, if you're a beginner and this is your first quilt, don't do it.
Well, no, because you know, we might want
you
this
know,
loveliness.
It's not hard, it's just you're going to have, because you're working on a bias, there's going to be a few occasions when you're a little bit like, oh, what's going on? But it's quite a quick, once you've got all the cutting done and you've got these bits sewn together and you're happy with how it's going together, it's quite a quickish make.
Perfect. I'm just trying to think, did we put in the thread securing things for your bobbins?
Oh, you might have done, yes.
Did we do that?
Yes, because they're another lovely
Yeah,
thing
that
to
just
have.
because otherwise it's annoying, isn't it, when your
Yeah.
bobbin unwinds?
They go around. I'll show on the bobbin. I don't think we've got. Have we got any in here?
No, I think they all went into the advent thing, but I can't remember now. Gosh, we've done so much since then.
Yeah. So on your bobbin, you've got all this loose thread, and sometimes it gets tangled up, doesn't it? On there. Well, those clippy things, they clip inside there, and they hold that thread down, so they sort of fit
That might
inside
be
your
the rubbery
bobbin.
clippy things that
Yeah.
yeah.
It's sort of,
It
I mean,
depends
sort
which
of
wave
goes-
of
I mean,
advent
that isn't
calendars.
open, but it goes round. It'll go round like that,
Yeah.
won't it?
Yeah, it depends which wave of advent calendars you got. Everybody had everything to the same value. It's like when I do, but it just meant if I couldn't get exactly the same thing, there had to be something to the same value that was as similar as I could do. It's like when I do the stockings for the kids.
Yeah.
You know.
You try and keep it equal, don't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. Might not be exactly the same, but it's the same value and the same sort of thing.
Yeah. So we've got 2 pairs. So basically we've sewn strip set 1 to strip set 2, strip set 3 to strip set 4. And now we're going to join those 2 strip set 4
Teeth in Jane,
sets
teeth in Jane.
together. And again, offsetting it by 1/4 of an inch. Just making sure you've got that 1/4 of an inch going on.
I'm going to leave that there for you, Jane, to look at, because they're the ones that we've got on the website in the minute.
Oh, yeah, these are the bobbin buddies, and these work in a similar way, don't they?
Yeah.
But you thread, instead of popping your bobbin on top of it, you thread your bobbin through there.
You just got to give them a little bit of welly first time.
They won't break, don't worry. And then your bobbin goes in like that. So again, it's just holding the bobbin with the same thread. So when you come to use the thread again, you've probably got a bobbin ready to go.
And we've got those on the website. They're the ones that we've got left on the website.
Really handy. I think they're the ones that are called bobbin buddies, aren't they? Because they are.
I don't know actually.
So again, we're just lining those up with the 1/4 of an inch, making sure that we're in the right place, and pinning. You'll know that I'm not a big pinning person. I don't pin much really. I'm more of a slam it together and go type of sewer. But you'll understand when I tell you that it needs to be pinned, that it really does need to be pinned.
Yeah. It's the So Tasty bobbin grippies. There you
Bobbin
go.
grippers.
So yeah, it's to keep the thread from unravelling on your bobbins. They look a bit like lobster claws, but I think I'm seeing that everywhere I look now.
We've got lobsters on the mound.
Yeah. Don't know if we've got any of those left. Jem, have we got any left? If not, they are quite handy, so we should get some more in.
We've all done it. We've all got a little pot that we throw our bobbins in, and then they get all tangled up. And it's just those clip things just hold the threads together, and it prevents them all tangling.
Oh, there we go. We've got a few. Gemma has posted a link. She's good, isn't
She's
she?
clever
Eh?
girl. She's a star. So that's one diamond made. So then we're going to make the other diamond set.
Helps if I'm sorry.
And again, you can see it'll start to curve. So when you're pressing it, literally just press it, because it does want to curve itself because you've got this biased edge here. So we're going to do the other diamond now. And if I do it in the right order with one at the bottom and then strip set 2, you'll see it faces the other way. So we're going to join them together in pairs, and then we'll join the pairs together, and again we're just lining it up, making sure that we're just offset by 1/4 inch and just pinning in that part where the seams come together just to hold it. And again, you know, just minimal amount of messing with the fabric, really, just to, you know, so that you're not manipulating it too much, because as I say, even with best press, you're still working on a bias. The fabric will still stretch.
I'm just giggling at Ali, who said, I thought the rubbery clippy things were for clipping socks together in the wash. I mean, give it a go, right?
It works.
Give it a go. If
yeah.
it works, it works.
You could have found a new use for it.
Multitasking clips. There we go. Oh, that is funny. Maybe I should have said what they all were. Maybe it should have had like, oh, I know, because then you'd have looked. Oh, Claire thinks that this is a weekend make when she doesn't have her boys.
Yeah, I think, Claire, you know, don't try and do them while you're homeschooling at the same time.
Oh, no. No, no, no. And Nicola's going to wait until I get the next round of Tula in. It won't be the same colours. Because this isn't a current collection, I have to get whatever I can when I see it. So I grab it as and when I can. Do you know what, Jen? I keep meaning to put the 2 sewing machines on the same settings.
Yeah.
One lifts the foot and one doesn't.
And it makes that crunchy noise when I lift the foot.
And I was thinking that when I was doing the Tilda toys the other day, one lifts its foot whenever you lift your foot off the pedal,
Yeah.
which is great when you're toy making, and the other doesn't. I just thought, why don't I just make these the same? That would have been a good idea.
And it's amazing, isn't it, how you get used to one.
Gosh, you really do.
And then
Aren't we
I've got-
spoiled? Listen to
I
us.
know.
Oh, you know, gosh.
I've got 2 machines.
Yeah, so tricky
But
for us.
I've got a machine at home that doesn't have the thread cutter on. And the amount of times I press the button that's
Oh,
not
really?
there. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That was my one thing I promised myself
Well,
when I upgraded my machine, was that I would have a thread cutter.
Yeah.
And the amount of thread it actually saves.
Yeah, I mean, the one I
is
use all
amazing.
the time has got a thread cutter on it, and I just love it. But of course, when I go to use the other machine, I'm forever pressing a button that
Yeah, no, of
doesn't
course.
exist.
Of course.
I'm trying to be good here and remember to take the pins out instead of sewing over them, because I'm terrible for sewing over pins.
Are you?
I just sew over them, and then in the 1 in 100 times the needle breaks, I just change the needle. I'm like, ugh.
Shame.
Terrible.
Shame on you.
Well, that's why I don't pin very much.
Well, that's fair enough. That's absolutely fair enough. Yeah. You got the posh pins though.
Yeah.
Don't sew over those.
No, don't sew over those.
I tell you what, I tried to use other pins the other day.
Yeah, and you're like, these aren't as good.
We've been really spoiled, haven't we?
We have. We get the best of everything, don't we?
Like super spoiled.
Yeah. So
We've just had a whole load of pins come back into stock as well.
those 2 are together, and then we're going to sew the pairs together. And again, we're offsetting the seam each time. Just taking our time and pinning it as we go, just to keep it in line. And as I say, quite often you can use your little seam allowance that you've got. That's your 1/4 inch if you've been accurate with your 1/4 inch seam allowance. But you can feel it. You can feel where the seam underneath hits the line of stitching. So you can just pin in that point there.
Perfect.
And it's just a case of sometimes you might have to just ease it slightly. You shouldn't have to ease it too much, but you may have found when you're pressing it, or as we say, when you're cutting it, sometimes it will move if you're not careful. And doing that method I showed you where I put them right sides together, you do run the risk there of movement of fabric. So, you know, just as I say, just take your time and make sure that your rotary cutter blade is, I'd put a new one in, to be honest. You know, you can just makes life easier.
What, Jane? Come on.
And you'll change your blade and you're like, why didn't I do this ages ago?
Change your blade, change your needle, all these things that we do, and then go, oh yeah,
that makes
oh,
sense.
should have done that, shouldn't I?
There we go. So now we've got 2 diamonds, and you will make 4 of one way and 4 of the other way.
Amazing.
So you've got 8 diamonds altogether. So you'll have 2 diamonds facing in opposite directions, like so. I'm going to move these out of the way. And then you get your background fabric. Now you're going to cut 12 and 7/8 inch squares.
Right.
And 8 and 7/8 inch squares. You'll need 4 of each one, and you will cut them in half across the diagonal to make half square triangles. And again, you've got biased edges here, so give them a good best press so you've got less stretchiness.
Lovely. Have a good stretchiness. My favourite thing today, Jane, has been your halo.
My halo, my little
I think,
coronet.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm really hoping that someone clever that can do this sort of thing, Elizabeth, has managed to like photo grabbed it, or whatever you call it, screen grabbed it. That's the one, screenshot it. Is there a reason that has to be done like, and you can't just cut it and put it in one piece?
You could. You've got a Y seam, which is, you know.
Oh God, I don't want to do that.
You don't want to do Y seam.
No. Oh, this is a very good idea, Jane.
So,
thank you for relieving us from the pain that is the Y seam.
we are in effect making this into a bigger triangle.
Right.
So we are taking. Now, again, you need to make sure you've got your diamond in the right orientation. So I've got fabric A here, B, C, D. You can change this around. Now, the star that I've made starts with that fabric in the middle. Oh. But you get a different effect altogether if you turned it round and you had that.
Yes, you do, and I kind of love that too.
So we could make it that way.
Shall we? Because then we'll have one way and one the other way.
We'll have 2 the same way. So you take your diamond, whichever one you're going to have in the middle, make sure it's facing away from you. Now we've cut half square triangles because we are making 2 larger half square triangles, which we will then make into a square. So you've got your biased edge on this triangle, the small triangle there. And then you sew this triangle on with the longer side, the biased edge going that way. Okay, so you sew your small triangle on first. Now line up that edge. So you've got your 1/4 inch hanging over down here, because when you press that back, it'll go straight then. And again, if you want to, you can pin it, because you will probably find that your edges are a little bit not straight against the edge. And I would recommend that you make sure that it's this edge here that lines up with your triangle. So the biased edge, the straight edge, is lining up with that edge. Right. And this is your biased edge. And you can see how that curves down on mine. And this is why you would pin it. But make sure that's lined up first. Pin that there. And then you can just ease this slightly. You may find that it'll ease up in certain points but not in others, and that's fine if it falls within your 1/4 inch seam. If you want to trim off the dog-eared parts, then do so, because that, you know, makes it easier to see what you're doing. But again, if you're trimming them, just take care, because you'll be pulling at your fabric.
Nice. Gemma has made a very good point. She says, no pun intended, because it's about pins. She said the magic pins are just amazing, and yes, we're spoiled. But she said my mum, who is by her own admission very frugal, hope you're feeling better soon, Eds, by the way, says about these sorts of things, once you've got them, you've got them.
Yeah, this is it.
And as long as you're not Jane and sewing over the top of them,
She's sewing them now.
then you're going to be okay. Do you know, my husband says buy cheap, buy twice. And I always say that to him when he's like, you spent what on that?
Yeah.
Buy cheap, buy twice, something you always say.
Yeah. We were talking about this.
I've saved money.
we
Look,
were on
I
about
saved money.
decorating Josh's room, and Glenn was like, oh, we'll just buy some, you know, paint from Wilko. And I was like, no, we're going to get Dulux, because we'll just end up painting it 3 times.
Yeah, there's no, yeah.
So
You
just
started
pressing
it yet?
that. No, not yet. Not putting it off at all.
No, I see that. I mean, you know, come back with that answer quickly. Oh, Elizabeth said, I heard my name. I'm in a daze. I had the neighbour round this morning whose wife has been, been mean to you. What halo? What halo? That perked me up a little bit.
If I stand here when I'm sewing,
and
I'm
down a
put
bit,
my head down,
and up a bit. Let's get it into the.
I've got a halo. I can't see because I can't turn my
Yeah,
head.
just there.
Just
it looks
there.
like Jane's either a punk rocker or an amazing
I've got a
halo.
halo. So we've got the larger triangle. We've got the small one here. We're putting the larger one on here. Now, we've just decided to turn our diamonds around. So if you're doing it with the red going orange, yellow, you want your red in the middle.
Oh,
with
if
the
we just
orange.
put the cat amongst the pigeons
No,
doing
because
that.
in the diagram it's in the pattern.
Oh, okay.
it's done
Oh,
the
that's
right way.
okay then.
And so we're going to line up now. We're going to line up the 90 degree part of the large triangle up with the edge of the small triangle and the edge of our diamond. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm just going to, again, we've got this, you might find that this larger triangle is slightly bigger, and you can always trim it down if you feel you want to, or when you join them together you can line them up and you'll have a bigger seam allowance.
Okay.
I didn't want to make the square smaller in measurement size and then people struggle and say actually it doesn't fit and now my quilt's not going together, so I kept it at the larger size.
Knowing there might be a little bit of trimmage.
You might just need to trim it down.
Nice.
It's easier to trim fabric away than it is to try and add it on. So we just sew that down there.
So. There we go.
And then we're going to press that up and away as well. So when I want the seam to go underneath the fabric, I have the fabric I want it to go underneath on the top. We're working with a straight edge there, but don't forget you've got bias underneath, so just press it carefully. So you can see now I've got this
Jane,
extra
that's
here,
gorgeous. Yeah,
but this line here lines up.
perfect.
So if we wanted to, we would trim this off. We'd line up, trying to find, you're going to have a wobbly line here, but try and line it up the best you can with that edge. Put your, let me just work this out.
We've all got a bit of wobble going on right now, Jane.
There's a 45-degree line there. If you've got the ability to do it on your ruler.
There will
There it
be on
is.
that one. Yeah, there it is.
We need to make it bigger. It's not in the right place. Anyway, we can line it up here. That's it. So if we line it up there, we can just see how much to trim off. So we want to line up that edge there with the edge of our fabric.
Right.
And it's about 3/8 of an inch. It might vary on yours, so you know, don't think, oh well, I'll just trim 3/8 off before I start. And it might be a bit wobbly. You can see it's wider there than it is there, but I can see that that's straight because it's lined up with that 45-degree angle. So I'm just going to trim that off.
Heather would like to say that you look more like a multicoloured Statue of Liberty.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's another look, right?
It is another look. It is.
Oh,
So this triangle now, so we want the small triangle, this diamond, we want the small triangle on the top
way.
And the larger triangle.
So the big triangles go back together.
Yeah, so when we come to make this into a square, it's like that.
Look at that.
Okay. So
With no Y seams, you're so clever.
well, I know, I mean, wide seams aren't terrible, but I do know that they just cause a bit of anguish sometimes, so why have them?
Well, if there's a world where there's no need for them,
You
I'm
know,
voting that.
if you want to do a full square without having a seam in, then you crack on with your Y seam, because you can do it.
You can, just not here.
Yeah.
Not here right now. We're not doing that. There we go. It's not what this is all about.
I'm all for making life easier.
Do you know what? Perfect. I think I'm all for that too. Oh, I just love this quilt.
It's just
I love
one
everything
of
about it.
It's one of those quilts that some people see the pattern and they're a little bit put off because it looks like it's lots of diamonds sewn together.
Yeah. Well, we've also had someone say, oh, that looks like you need to be methodical. That's me out. But I don't know. I think it always depends how much you love something.
Yeah, your preparation is the key on this, and we've said this before, haven't we? The longer you take prepping your fabric, making sure you've got everything in place, cut the right way, then it soon comes together.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, you think from pretty much scratch,
Yeah.
you'd only sewn a few lines.
Yeah.
You've done quarter of the quilt this morning.
You make it into squares and then it's the full patch. You're sewing
that's
4 squares
lovely.
together. So it's quite a straightforward make. You're learning a different technique because you're cutting at 45-degree angles, which makes your fabric behave in a different way.
Well, Fiona says this is a much easier method of making this quilt, broken down into bite-sized pieces, than the huge one I made, 90 by 90.
Wow.
Always said never again, but Jane and Tash, you may have changed my mind. I mean, you know, Fiona, yeah, do it Jane's way.
We might.
That's what we always say. Just do it Jane's way. It's fine. Do it Jane's way. And Jane is one of those people that when I'm scratching my head over it, when I've decided I've got something in my head, I'm like, I want to make a pattern with this or that, and I need to do it this way. I'm like, Jane.
We always find a solution, don't we?
Yeah, am I being really thick here? Like, what am I doing wrong?
Well,
sometimes you just need that person to bounce it off.
Yeah, and it's like when I did this. Now, I've previously made a Lone Star pattern, but I only used 5 fabrics, and we've got 6. And when you use 5 fabrics, you only have 3 strip sets.
Right.
And with that, you can sew your strip sets together edge to edge.
Right.
And you just do 3 one way and 3 the other way.
Nice.
It's straightforward.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
I could do that with 4 and I couldn't.
Yeah,
Which is
mm.
where I then ended up.
Oh, is
saying,
that why you
right,
came in cussing the other day going?
Yeah, because I wasted fabric and I hate it. And it's not my fabric either, which is, if I'd have bought it, I'd have been really cross as well. But I don't want Natasha to think, oh, well, I can just go and help myself to more off the bolt, because that cuts into what we're selling to customers. And I don't like waste anyway.
You do know you were the only person that was cross with you, though.
Yeah, I know.
No, so I'm like,
I'm the
why are you so
bottom.
cross about this? These things happen. We put it down as research and development.
I'm just
That's
like,
what that is.
But this is what we're like, though, aren't we? And you're the same when you're trying to work something out. You're like, why can't I do this?
I growl. And you know what? My daughter growls now as well. Have you heard her? When she can't do something, she growls. I'm like, yeah, so she might have got that from me. Oh, dear. Dear, dear, dear me.
It's one of these things, isn't it? Just children pick up what you say. You have to be so careful when they're at the development stage. I remember us having to watch what we said in front of Josh because he swore quite ferociously just the one day, and I was, where's he had that from? Glenn said, you say that quite a lot. I was like, I don't. He was like, you do.
Yeah, so the first time that Freddie ever swore, he was about 2.5, nearly 3, and he did it at the start of half-term week, and we had so many trips and things booked in with grandparents and this, that, and the other. I was like, right, that's it, I've got to cancel everything. What if he says that in front of a grandparent? I was just mortified, like, what have I done? And we just moved house, and I think there might have been a little bit of road rage. Well, this is where Freddie said it came from, the road rage from my husband. So I'm blaming it, because clearly I never swear.
Of course we don't.
Susan's got to come back to this later. She says she might sneak and buy the pattern at lunchtime. Do it.
So then we join the 2 triangles together. And again, we're going to try and make sure that when we put these together, and they will line up this time, and this is why I said, if you can, try and remember to do your seams in opposite directions.
Because they will
nestle, and that will help you, because you haven't got to offset these ones. They're just straightforward, banging them together, sewing them together, lining them up. And again, it might help to pin them, because you're still working with a bias, and you've got this bias edge here on the triangle.
Yeah, and
you
it goes
really
on and
want
on, doesn't it?
To make sure that the triangles meet here. This is the one place in that corner you really want to make sure they meet. So you might have to do a little bit of easing with seams on that corner. Stuck together. And you might find, like I have here, that one of the diamonds has decided to shoot itself off. Don't worry, just work on just put it into your seam allowance.
Claire says that if she gets stuck, I say, oh, come on. The other day, Adam couldn't get his foot out of his trouser leg. What did he say? Oh, come on.
Well, that's the worst he said.
You're really lucky. Yeah. Emily's latest thing is, oh, man. When she can't do something. Yeah. Oh, man, not again.
Oh, bless her.
Bless
it's a lovely age, because they are sort of absorbing everything around them like sponges, aren't they? And it's lovely to see how, because we were just saying earlier that her language development is amazing.
Well, and in French as well.
Yeah, she was speaking French this morning to her mum, and I was like, what?
Well, you know why that is?
I can't speak French.
Nurseries are still open.
Yeah.
So Emily gets to go back, which is fabulous. But her normal teacher isn't there.
Oh, right.
So she now has the French teacher as her go-to teacher, and so he just talks French her the whole time, which is great, because I'm utterly rubbish at languages, as I think Claire can attest to the fact that I can't even say chartreuse. And one thing I always wanted was for my kids to be able to speak languages better than I could, which isn't going to be hard. They already do pretty much. Apart from the time that we played I Spy in the car. Did I tell you this? I must have told you this story with Freddie.
No.
And, you know, going along, and I spied my little eye, says Freddie, something beginning with S. Street lamp, sky, you know, all the normal things that you go through. And like, no, I give up. Escargot, mummy, escargot. Firstly, no one said it was French. Secondly, begins with an E. Thirdly, where was the snail? What? But yeah,
That's brilliant that he knows what escargot is as well.
So again, same French teacher. Freddie did French club for a while after school before Emily started, and then it was just too long a day for her. And he brought some in for them to try. So he always brings them in. I know, vegetarian.
Well, I've had snails and
Yeah, I mean, if anything was going to put you off, it would potentially be snails. So yeah, so he brought in escargot to see which of the kids would be brave enough to try them.
yeah. Brilliant.
And Freddie was really excited when he saw them in Lidl or somewhere, and yeah. Oh, Julia says, yeah, parrot mode has been installed. That's exactly it. My granddaughter is the same. Have to be really careful. Really careful.
And it's they pick up the things that you say that you wouldn't want them to repeat. You try and get them to learn their
Obviously,
colours
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever, and they're just like, I'm doing that. So there you go. You've got a quarter made there.
That's amazing.
So you make 4 quarters. You join 2 quarters together to make a half, and then you join a half.
Just so scrummy.
And a little tip is make sure the seams on these 2 are going the same way on all your 4 quarters, and then when you come to join them up, you'll nestle them.
Nice.
When you join the 2 halves, they'll nestle here,
Yeah.
which will help because you'll have a lot of seam going on in the middle.
Oh, yes.
So there you go.
How totally gorgeous. Totes
Super.
gorge, Jane. Totes gorge.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's lovely.
You are a clever stick, aren't you?
Let's see what you're making next week.
Yeah. Yeah, have you done next week?
I've done the top. I haven't.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you?
It's a nice little quick make.
Oh, nice.
Nice little quick make. We had some beautiful fabric that was in strips.
I wanted to make a book bag out of it
Yeah.
because it would have looked like books on a bookshelf.
Yeah.
But Jane went, no, I can do something better than that.
And
She
we've gone on a
blinking
sort
has.
of strippy quilt basis with a 4 patching.
Oh, look at that. Yes. So that's
So that looks like it's all
Horner
pieced,
fabric.
doesn't it? But it's not.
It looks like it's really technical.
But
I
that's a
am
lovely
loving
way
it.
of using a border fabric,
Yeah.
and gives you it's a fairly quick make, 4 patch on point, and then the strippy. And I thought we'd do a little bit about quilting with this because we can do something down this piece here.
Beautiful. You know what else would look nice in that sort of design?
Mhm.
Pat Bravo Dare. Strippity strip down the middle,
Mm.
at the sides. Beautiful. Oh, your friend's
Oh,
come
hey,
to see you.
HP, how are you doing?
Well, she said, you know,
Hello,
heard it was
lovely.
nearly the end of the show. Thought I'd come and say hi. That's gorgeous, Jane. You are clever. You are
So
clever.
that's what we're going to look at next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very clever. Margaret says, wow, I love the original, but I think the new orientation is even better. I mean, we haven't even tried it yet with the moders. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have really good fun. I mean, with this set, you could put that purple going down in each one. In each strip set, you could have that purple. This is why I put the template on the back, so you can have a little play with your colours and have a look and see what it would look like. You've got enough on each one to get 4 strips out of the fabric, so you can play
Yeah.
around with it.
Lorraine wants to know what you would recommend to put on the back of the rainbow quilt.
Well, I use blah, 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 blah. Shall I take it down? I can talk a little bit about the quilting on this as well, if you like.
Yeah, go for it.
I'd got some of the black left over. Now it's just a little bit wider than the width of fabric. So I had some of the strip left over. So I pieced it, I cut it down the middle. Ooh. I cut it down the middle and then added it in. So I got that on the back of mine.
Oh, nice.
So I would have, if it had been, my piece of black fabric wasn't quite wide enough, but it is, let me just measure it. I think you would get it from, yeah, it's 39.5
Oh,
wide.
so you'd get it out of...
So you get it out of width of fabric, and it's square, so a metre of fabric
It's going to do
would
the
be
trick.
squeaky, but you would get it out of a metre of fabric.
Squeaky.
Yeah. You'd have to think about how you're edging it. But I quilted it. I went through the 8s. So I did through the 8ths on it, and then I just echo quilted it 1/4 of an inch inside.
It's really beautifully done, I have to say.
When I got to this point here, I didn't stop there. I just went and did that little V there and then carried on. Because you can do it quite nicely, 1/4 of an inch in the middle one, and then you come to the next one, you're like, oh, hang on a minute, I haven't got a... So I just followed it round. I don't know if we can get a close-up of that.
Oh, we can. Hang on, what have I done with my doobry? What's it? Hang on. I say that. I've lost my buttons. There we go.
So I did the 1/4 of an inch there, and then I just followed sort of like in the ditch on that little bit there. It's like 3 stitches, and then came back up and did the 1/4 of an inch. And I was just using the walking foot with the 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. So
Perfect.
lining up the edge of the walking foot with that seam basically.
And it looks stunning.
In the black here,
Oh, look at that.
I put the foot back into the middle, sewed very close to the edge, not in the ditch, but very close to the edge along there, and then used the edge of the foot against that edge and sewed a line, and then for the next line used the edge of the foot against the line of the stitching. So you can see that's just really the width of the walking foot, really, from the middle to the edge.
So there's no need to chalk everything out?
No,
or
I
anything
literally
like that?
used the foot as the sewing gauge.
Perfect. You're a clever thing.
You
Love
will
it.
find that sometimes with your wadding it pulls through. So that all this fluff on here is actually wadding, because of course when I was sewing it I got all this extra wadding at the top and around the edge, and it fluffed up a bit. But
that's all right. We can cope with
sticky
fluffing
roller,
up.
we'll get that off.
Yeah.
There you go.
Lo says that the back is as beautiful as the front. It is, and Kaif always says, doesn't he? You know, the back of the quilt should
because
be
I
as
use
beautiful as the
black
front.
in the bobbin, you get the star effect in the quilting on the
Oh,
back.
nice.
You
Yeah,
can just
do.
about see, but yeah.
Gorgeous. We are working on getting you all of our planes by the ½ metre, because we suddenly realised that, you know, you buy the ½ metre heavens, we always tell you what colour the plane is, but then if you ever want to buy any more, you can't at the minute, so we are working on that. Do you want me to put up black by the ½ metre for you guys to buy if you want to back it in black as well?
You've got enough in your quilt kit to do the binding,
Right.
but yes, you would need extra for
Another
the back.
metre
Yeah.
for the back. Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. I will crack on with that as soon as we come off air. Elizabeth's going to have to watch this all over again. She didn't really hear any of the fun. She's going to concentrate next time. Oh, Elizabeth, bless
in
you.
the background.
Yeah. Background noise. White noise.
Yeah,
Jane, are we
it
just
is
white noise?
White noise. No, she's been having to sort out a little problem. It's
Oh, well,
gonna
we're
be the
sending you
distraction.
loves. Yeah, love and that's love and hugs put together.
yeah.
Loves.
Loves.
At some point, says Liesl, can Joan show us how to ensure a pieced back is square on the quilt, as my backings are always skewed? I'm going to make that skewiff, because that's one of my favourite words.
Skewiff, it's a nice word.
Yeah.
It sounds nice in your mouth, skewiff. What I do is I fold it into 4.
Yeah.
Because my backing is always bigger than my quilt and my wadding slightly, I'll fold it into 4, and where the 1/4 is, so let's say this is the backing, if I folded that in half, just finger press that there, and then I would fold it again so it would be up here, and then I take one of my curved safety pins, because I curve safety pin, and I put it in there so that you can sig it. So it would be like that. Whoops. And it would be down here, and it'd be sticking out, the curved safety pin would be.
Yeah.
So you've got that, and then when you put your wadding on, you can still see the pin. So when you lay your quilt on the top, you've got the centre of your quilt
Nice.
there and there and there and there, and that helps
Okay.
centrising it.
Helen, yes, I do. We did have black grunge arrive, didn't we?
Yes.
Yes. I haven't put it up anywhere yet.
Ah, it's been lovely.
I'm assuming, Helen, that means that you'd like some.
Yeah.
All right, we will load that by the ½ metre as well for you. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? If you are doing the grunge version, you might want to save the 1.25 metres that you're getting of plain black and put that on the back, and you might want to use black grunge on the front.
Yeah.
Or on the back,
yeah.
or anywhere you like, or
Yeah.
just put the plain black in your stash and go all out black grunge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will do that for you. And just one word, yep.
Brilliant.
Your wish is our
Our
command.
command. We are there for you.
Shall do that. Yes. I mean, it was you guys that wanted the black grunge, wanted the grunge in the first place.
It's gorgeous. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. It works a bit like a batik in that you'll never get the same piece twice.
That's great.
It's lovely.
We heart it very much.
Again, it gives you that sort of solid colour, but with a bit of movement and texture, which is nice. Gives a little sort of lifts your quilt slightly.
It's all gorgeous.
It's just gorgeous colours.
Yes.
Love it. Love it.
And it's another one that when you cut it in the daylight, you go,
Yeah.
oh, there it is.
There's a bit of scrumminess.
Beautiful. Mix up the two. Mix it up with a Tula.
Yeah. Why
You know,
not?
have a play.
not?
Enjoy. Right, you lovely people. Next week we have a 4-show week. Because we've got that John Cole Morgan on the Friday.
You lucky lot.
He has sent us some rather lovely patterns, which are just gorgeous. He sent me another one. He's up to the ante again. We were chatting at 3:30 this morning. He'd just finished work. I was just starting. I'm like, what do normal people do? Johnny's like, I don't know.
Like me, just sleep.
We don't really know what normal does.
What is normal? There's no such thing as
Like
normal.
in this world, no idea. Susan says, thank you very much. Beautiful quilts, great demo, fantastic company. It's our absolute pleasure. We will see you all next Monday. I don't know which order I'm going to do my shows next week.
There's some fluffy goodness, isn't there?
There's
next
fluffy
week's?
goodness. There is organisational goodness if you want to start doing some designy based stuff yourself.
Cool.
You know, not to give too much away.
I've seen it, you'll love it.
But you know. And then of course there's the man himself.
Yeah.
Starting off our very first of ouch, HP, don't put your claws in. Sorry everyone.
Grabbing the attention, like, talk to me. Please don't ignore me.
Completely forgotten what I was saying. What's John starting off? Our Fabulous Fridays.
Yeah, designer takeover.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I knew I gave it a word other than Fabulous Fridays. We are also going to have a look at our
Fusions.
Friday fusions, and
Yeah.
this week we're going to do you some fat quarter fusions.
Yeah.
We're mixing it up, seeing what you
Mixing it
fancy.
up.
So there we go. Enough from us. HP's got some loving that she clearly needs with Jane there. So I feel that's part of your job description, Jane.
Yeah, cat stroker.
Cat wrangler.
extraordinaire.
Yeah.
I love her. She's beautiful.
Thank you very much, you lovely people. We will see you next week. Susan says, "Oh, like fluffy." Yes,
Yes.
you hopefully
You'll
will.
love it.
Bye.
Bye.